The library of games are insane, and I have been there from the beginning. From the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the N64, the GameCube, the Wii, the Wii U, the Switch, and in some way the Switch 2 as well, even though I'm not the biggest fan so far. But that's another topic. Today I started to think about there are some games that I've never experienced. And when you was a child, you didn't have the option to get all the games you wanted. You didn't have the internet to know about all the games you actually was interested in. I had the Nintendo Power magazine, and I have my friends over at the school to know about what kind of different games there are in the world. Otherwise, I didn't have the internet, and there are some games that I missed out. Especially at the beginning of my teenage years, I started to appreciate the genre called JRPG. RPG, you can call it what you want. RPG, JRPG, it's more about the animation style that depends on which kind of thing you are going to say. RPG, and it was a genre I didn't play it before that because my brother and my father was never into it, and you have to try them out and understand what kind of games they are before you can appreciate them, because they are very different for all other games that was a normal thing back then. You had the platform, you had the action, you had the puzzle games, and you had the shooter games. I would say that was often the genre you saw back then. And RPG, what is that kind of like a game? It's very slow paced sometimes. You have to be patient with your level up systems. There are a lot of readings. It can be difficult to understand the genre, but when you first click and you starting to notice how epic and awesome a lot of the games are, you understand that you have missed out some journeys that probably will sit in you forever. My favorite genre of all time is JRPG and RPG, and I have so many games in that genre, and especially the Super Nintendo. I have some games that I didn't know about, and I didn't have heard anyone talk about before. And I started to see so many YouTube videos when I grew up, and I saw how many games I was missing out. I would say, especially back on the Wii, where we got the virtual console, I started to try out all the games that I was missing out. And especially for the Super Nintendo, that's my second favorite console of all time, I started to notice, yeah, I had missed out some great games. And there was one game that I saw so many people talking about, so many YouTubers have made videos about it, and I started to notice that this game almost have a cult following it. And when I saw screenshots for it, yeah, it was an RPG, and it was made by Nintendo, and it was called Earthbound, also called Mother 2 in Japan. We have Mother 2, and we have Mother 3. Mother Beginning, and we have Earthbound, that is Mother 2, and we have Mother 3 that was a GBA game. The history with Earthbound is a crazy history, and I have looked through a lot of YouTube videos where they are talking about the history. I have seen a 4-hour long video for a week ago where I was totally captivated by the history with Earthbound. I knew something about Earthbound, but I was not sure about all the details, and all the troubling development it was going through is insane, and I feel so sorry for some people that are trying to come out with this game, and a lot of the fans as well. And I have noticed that I'm probably going to be a very huge fan of this game if I tried it. I have never played Earthbound, but I know a lot of the history about Earthbound, and I know that I appreciate the trouble it have been through. Appreciate all the hardcore fans out there, and it's a game that I wanted to try for a long time. But my love for this franchise is enormous because of the history. If you know me just a little bit, you know that I don't play games that often that a lot of hardcore gamers are doing or other YouTubers are doing. I'm more into the history about the games and exploring how the development is for a game, and collecting them and look at them and know about how did the franchise come to this point. And I love to talk about my nostalgia from different games. I own a lot of games, but I don't play them all. They're sitting on the shelf, and someday I will probably play them all. But for now, I collect a lot of games that I want to have in my collection because I appreciate the journey they have. And Earthbound is, for me, is a franchise that I found very interesting. And I'm a JRPG guy. That's my favorite genre. And there was a YouTuber called the Happy Video Game Nerd. And it's a video made for 13 years ago where he said, and it has sit me since, I can quote him exactly for how he said it, but I will probably show a little clip of it. But he was saying something like, you should be ashamed by yourself if you haven't played Earthbound and if you are RPG fan. And I'm an RPG fan and I've never played Earthbound, and I am ashamed by myself, especially after I have seen so lot videos and so many information about that franchise.
Earthbound is not just one of the greatest RPGs of all time. And Earthbound is not just one of the greatest games in the Super Nintendo. Earthbound is quite simply one of the greatest games ever made. If you take pride in calling yourself an RPG gamer or a retro gamer and you are not familiar with Earthbound, you should be simply ashamed of yourself. There is more heart, ingenuity, and creativity in this one title than there are in most series.
The first time I started to notice the franchise was back on the Super Smash Bros., the N64 game, where we saw one of the unlocked characters was Ness. And I was like, who is that character? I couldn't understand. I had been around, around 10 years old, and I didn't understand who he was. And slowly I started to notice that there was a game called Earthbound when the Nintendo Wii was a thing, and I started to come on the internet, and I saw the big box for Earthbound, and it was only released in USA, so it was very hard to know anything about the franchise here in Europe, here in Denmark. Denmark is not a Nintendo country, and a little now, but back then there wasn't a lot of Nintendo players in Denmark. In my school, I was almost the only one, and thanks to the internet, I have started to see how big the community is for Earthbound, and I wished I was there from the beginning and had followed the journey and been a part of it, but at the same time, it's such a sad story with the franchise that I feel some kind of sad when I hear about it. It's crazy that the first game, Earthbound, for the Nintendo Entertainment System was actually made. They had a translation for it. It was made. There's just missing the making the games. The factory. There was just missing manufacturing it, and that's crazy. I have seen an interview where the guy that had translated the whole game, he said it was done, but it was very late in the Nintendo Entertainment System, so they were like, maybe we shouldn't do it, and they saw the lack of success with the Dragon Quest game and the Final Fantasy, and then were like, maybe this will be too odd, let's just don't release it. And the first game, Mother, shouldn't be as good as Earthbound, the second Mother 2 and the Mother 3, but I'm still like, it's sad that we never got the game officially, and and then we have Earthbound, the second game, Mother 2, that was never released here in Europe. And it was a game released very late at the Super Nintendo era as well again. And it failed so hard. It came with a big box with a player guide, and it was around $10 more expensive than normal Super Nintendo games. And back then, games was an expensive thing. So why would you buy a game that you probably you're not sure about you will like, and it's an RPG, and it costs $10 more, come with a huge box? I can see why a lot of children back then, or gamers, grown-up people, wouldn't buy that game, because The front cover is kind of weird. You have never heard about the franchise before, and Earthbound is the front cover is a very weird front cover in an awesome way, of course. But back then, if you saw it on the shelf, you'd be like, "What is that?" And you have seen pictures of it going for sale for around $30. But people was missing out, and it ending up being a cult game, one of the best games ever made, have people said. Back then, the reviewer wasn't happy about it in USA. In Japan, about the critic company, the magazine, I think it's called Famitsu, I think they're called. They gave it a pretty high score, and it have been praised a lot, the series in Japan. But in USA, it never really clicked before it was too late. First when it was too late, but back then it wasn't a huge hit. But the people that got Earthbound, the big bucks in USA, saw how masterful it was, and a lot of people had actually treasured that box from their childhood. Now it's very hard to come around Earthbound, the Super Nintendo game, Mother 2. Especially if you want the big box, you want the player magazine, where you have the little side where you can scratch on it and you can smell a bad smell on it. Oh man, the prices on it have risen, especially in the later years, where YouTube has started to talk about it. AVGN have talked about it. Happy Video Game Nerd about it. The Happy Console Gamer have talked about it. Super Derek have talked about it. I can't remember all, but there are so many YouTubers that had a lot of followers out that have talked about it and have said it's one of the best games ever made. Not just one of the best RPGs ever made, but one of the best games ever made. So why haven't I played it? Because I could play it on the Virtual Console. You know me, when I picked it up back then, I was like, not totally in love in the genre yet. I played Paper Mario, one of my favorite games of all time. I played 1000 Years Door, of course, and games like that. It was first when Xenoblade for the Nintendo Wii in around 2010, I started to really fall in love with RPG. And then I was moved on, and I don't know, I never went back to Earthbound. Even though I bought it, I have never booted it up, even once. I just bought it, and it was just laying virtual on my Nintendo Wii. Crazy. I've never played Earthbound 1, Mother 1. I have never played Mother 3. So why am I so passionate about it, talking about Earthbound? I have said in a lot of videos, I've said in a lot of live streams, that Earthbound, get that complete in box with the big box, the player guide, is the ultimate holy grail for my whole collection. But I know I will never get it, and I've started to accept that. There are a lot of games that I've said I will probably never own it, and I ended up owning it. But we are talking around 5,000. As an example, Chrono Trigger, one of the games that I was like, yeah, I'm okay that I'm never going to own it. But then I ended up saving up for it. It's around 5,000 Danish. I will write on the screen how many it's in dollars. And yeah, I just want the game because Chrono Trigger is one of my favorite games of all time. A game that I played the first time on the Virtual Console as well. Because it was never released here in Europe. Actually, I don't think that's true. No, that's not true. The first time I played Chrono Trigger was on my Nintendo DS. Great port. And then it didn't sell well, Earthbound, in America. And then we got Mother 3. That was planned to release on the N64. I think it was the disc version, what do you call it, the DDD, I can't remember it. But then N64 was supposed to get an add-on where you can play some CDs, but it was scrapped. And yeah, we saw actually some footage for it, and we saw some gameplay for it. There was actually a demo for it around 2000, but in 2001, I think it was around that time, they came out and say, yeah, we're canceling it. Cancel it. It was in a development nightmare, and there were a lot of things that didn't translate well over to 3D. So they was like, let's just scrap it. And a lot of people was trying and begging, please make the game. A lot of people, fans, were sending out signatures that they wanted the game, and the first game as well. Get an English translation, just get Earthbound 3 at all. But then, around 3 years later, maybe I'm wrong, it's around 3 to 4 years later, they announced that they were starting development on Earthbound. No, not Earthbound, Mother 3. And it was after they have announced or released something. They have announced that we will get a Mother 1 and Mother 2 combined on a cartridge for the Game Boy Advance in Japan. We never got it in Europe or in USA, but they got it in Japan, where they said Mother 3 is in development again. But this time it was for the GBA. And people was begging, let's get Mother 3. And they wrote to Nintendo, and they never heard anything. They were sending fan mails, fan art. The people that are so passionate about Earthbound are some of the most passionate people I have ever heard about. And Nintendo's answer back was like, we will see the time if it happens, but we can't promise anything. And after that, we didn't hear anything from Nintendo. Reggie had teased about it and talked about Earthbound sometimes, and trolling the fans that, yeah, I know you want Earthbound and Mother 3 and a new Earthbound in the future, but yeah. But Nintendo don't care about it anymore, even though so many fans are loving this franchise. And it's very hard to come around, especially in Europe. So, we will probably never see a new game in the series. If that happens, my head will explode. But why am I talking about Earthbound when I have never played, I've never explored series, and why is it a holy grail, the ultimate holy grail in my collection if I ended up getting it? Why is that when I don't have any nostalgia for it? I don't have any knowledge about the series other than things I have seen on YouTube and the music I have heard, and all. The music is crazy good. It's the history about the game. It's that I'm a RPG fan. It's my favorite genre, and I've never played. It's a big hole in my body. I feel incomplete in some way. I feel often that I'm missing something. I have missed out an experience. I have missed out a game that you will never see games like this anymore. It's so wanky, it's so odd, it's so out of place. The writing in the franchise is crazy, it's so self-aware, it don't take itself so seriously, and that's odd because RPG, there are a lot of focus on story, and it's not that the story in Earthbound in Mother 1 or Mother 2 or Mother 3 are bad, they're just more lighthearted, but at the same time they are talking about topics that are very hard and scary as well. As far as I know, I don't know the endings of the story. I've heard a lot of people have cried to Mother 3, the ending of that game, but yeah, I don't know anything about it almost. And I appreciate so much the love and the fans around this the series that I can't not be. I'm so hyped about owning it, and I can easily enough get Mother 1 and Mother 3 for the GBA with Japanese language, but I can't play them. You can get some French translation, but I have started to notice I want the original things. If Nintendo haven't released it, I'm not interested to play them. I'm interested to own them. Of course, I want to have Mother 1 and Mother 3 complete in box. But with Mother 2, why should I get the Japanese version? Because there is already an English version, and that is Earthbound, that was released in America, USA, and Canada and Mexico. And I'm sorry, but the prices on it is absolutely insane. It's one of the rarest games of all time, not just for Super Nintendo, but of all time. We are talking insane prices, and they have skyrocketed after a lot of YouTubers have talked about it, that more people have started to notice the franchise. So much love for the Smash Bros community, started to notice Ness and Luca, and Lucas, sorry, I think he's called. So you can see I'm not the biggest knowledge about what the different characters are called. I'm not sure if he's called Luca or Lucas, the front character in the third game, but I appreciate the franchise and I really want to have it in my collection. It will be a game where I can see this is my first time playing through it, and I can easily enough get it. I can easily enough get it in some weird way. I can emulate it, but I'm not into that. I can just buy a loose copy. That's around 2,000 to 3,000 Danish. But I'm not into loose copies. I want it complete in box. But the prices on it, we are talking 11,000 for the cheapest one, and then you have the shipping and export fees. It's around, the cheapest one I can see on eBay right now is 16,000 Danish crowns. And if you want them in mint condition, if you want... So, the price depends on if the player guide included, if the sniff scratching thing included, and the sniff scratching thing where you have to sniff and it smells bad, it can change the price to 5,000 Danish. And I have seen it listing for 44,000 Danish crown. And around 30,000, you can get it for the cheapest one right now, 16,000 Danish crowns, and it's without the sniff scratch things. It's around 21,000 to 22,000 if you want the sniff scratch thing included as well, and that's how it's supposed to be like. And a very funny thing to get included as well. And then it depends on the box itself. We are talking around mid 20,000 to 30,000 if you want to complete in box. I will never pay that amount of money for it, sadly so. And it's hard to accept that because I want it in my shelf. I want to experience the game for the first time. And I won't experience the game before I have it complete in box. So I have told myself I will probably never play the game. And I know it's a me problem. I'm the weird one here now. If there isn't any option otherwise to play it digitally, I will pick it up digitally. But when I know there is a physical copy of the game complete in box, my task is to hunt down that thing and have it in your collection, experience the game, because 50% of my enjoyment playing through a game is to have the box beside me while I'm playing, to remember the journey afterwards. I will be so bummed out if I play Earthbound and I don't have the game and have a blast with it, and then I look back on my shelf and I don't have it physical. I want to have it. It's a part of me. I want the games, I want the journeys I have, I want the experience I have in my room, so I can look back at my memories and treasure it. And I know a lot of people have it a different way, that they don't care about physical games, but I do. And I will probably never experience Earthbound, and I'm okay with that, even though it's very hard to admit. It's heartbreaking. And I get an enjoyment out of hearing about the game, see the community, see people talking about it, and maybe someday Nintendo re-release the games, get a remastered version, physical. I feel so sad that I'm never going to own Earthbound complete in box, the American version. I had dreamed about it, and I was starting to bidding on it on an auction here this week, where I was like, I will go up to 13,000. That's a lot of money. 30,000 Danish crown. That's a lot of money for a pretty mint condition. I was hopeful. I was like, maybe I can win that, because how many people will actually buy Earthbound for that amount of money? And then I checked the listing sending for sold games complete in box on eBay. They were like, people are willing to pay that amount of money and more. It's crazy that people have that amount of money. And I will never buy for more than 13,000 Danish crowns. That's too insane. But to be fair, it was a very mint condition that I saw a listing on an auction sale. And it has just been racing and racing. And I don't know how to end this video, because it's a very sad video, because I want to experience Earthbound. I want to experience the magic that you guys, that your fan have experienced. I want to be a part of it. I want to fill out that hole. I want to not be ashamed about myself as an RPG lover, player. I'm a fake one. I don't have Earthbound. And sorry about that. I really want to have it, but it's just too expensive. I don't have the money for it. And that's hard to admit. That's hard to admit. Maybe someday, but I don't think so, because the price is just rising, especially after COVID. It has just skyrocketing. But yeah, I don't know. Should I upload this video? I don't know what's the purpose is. Oh man. Hvorfor snakker jeg overhovedet engelsk? Jeg er jo færdig med videoen. Ja. Jeg får sgu nok aldrig efter. Anyway, måske skulle jeg bare. Thank you so much everyone for watching the whole video. This was
Bye.